Good afternoon and welcome back to the Retired Guy's Garage. Hey, I'm Jeff Richter. Hey, so today I'm going to walk you on over here real quick and show you what we got. So I'm going to show you the project coming up here shortly. I'm not exactly sure when I'm going to get to this one, but picked up this Bilt riding mower here, and looks like it's in pretty decent shape. I haven't looked at anything yet. I haven't checked to see if the motor's free. I haven't looked at anything yet. Picked this thing off Facebook Marketplace. It was free, so the price was right. You know how the saying goes: if it's free, it's for me, right? So the deck looks to be in pretty good, really great shape. First thing I'm going to do though is I'm going to back it up off the trailer here real quick. Drop it off the trailer into the driveway here. Get it on the driveway, and I'm going to go ahead and get it pressure washed, get it cleaned up a little bit, so I don't have to work on a filthy, dirty mower. And but all in all, it looks like it's complete. Looks like the tires are in good shape. I don't see any I don't even see any dry rot in the tires, to be quite honest with you. So, I mean, this was a deal I couldn't pass up. Like I said, picked it up off Facebook Marketplace. It was free. It looks like it's a 7-speed. I think it's a 17.5 horsepower. 15.5 horsepower Briggs on it. Carburetor doesn't look the greatest. Carburetor looks like it's probably going to need replaced. So it looks like it's going to need some. Loving, but I think it's going to be a pretty good one. We'll see here. But first things first. Hang on just a second, and I'll flip you around and let you walk around it with me. All right. Well, this is it. Like I said, looks like it's in pretty good shape. It's filthy dirty. Looks like it's been sitting outside for a while. You can see the fuel tank's all crusty, and engine is all complete. Like I said, looks like the carburetor is probably going to need to be replaced. So it's definitely going to need a tune-up. I did notice the steering was kind of tight on it too when I was pushing it out of the backyard to get it up on the trailer. But like I said, no, I don't see any dry rot in the tires. They look like they're in really good shape. They got really good tread on them. I mean, heck, even the seat's in good shape. So, can't complain. So for free, I'll take it. I've actually, I've got the zero turn. I've got hopefully eventually one of the push mowers, either the Husqvarna or the Toro, to help out with the yard on the smaller stuff. But been looking for something. Been looking for a rider. It didn't have to be anything fancy, just to tow the little utility trailer around the yard, and some of the little stuff little things that need to be done. So bonus is, like I said, deck looks like it's in really good shape. It looks like the belt's even on it. So I'm kind of excited about this one. Looks like the fuel filter's on backwards, though, I can see. So that's kind of that's not good. But yeah, so let's get it off the trailer here real quick. We'll get it down in the driveway. I'll get the pressure washer out, and let's get this thing cleaned up and see what it does. All right. Well, went ahead and spent probably about an hour or so on this thing, I guess, with the pressure washer. But man, it really turned out nice. Like I said, I know absolutely nothing about this thing. As a matter of fact, I probably know less than nothing about it. So that tells you where I'm at with it. But hit it with a pressure washer, got it cleaned up. I got a bird's nest in there, old bird's nest. How to get out of there? I couldn't get out with the pressure washer. But gonna get that out here in a few minutes. And the next thing is, of course, it's going to be time to get get a fresh battery in it, some fresh gas. Looks like it's got some gas in there that may have been in there for, who knows, 4, 5, 20 years. Who knows? I was kind of afraid to even take the cap off and see what it smelled like, to be quite honest with y'all. So, but here, just a second, I'm going to flip y'all around. Like I said, this thing was pretty nasty. It looks like it's been sitting outside for a couple of years, but boy, I'll tell you what, about an hour or so with that pressure washer, and I did hit the engine compartment with some degreaser. Nice thing about it is, I don't see any signs of oil leaks at all. And I did check off camera. The motor's not stuck. The motor's not frozen. It does spin. But I'm not going to do anything with that right now. I've got to get that Husqvarna, get that one situated and running first before I tackle this one. Seems like I've been doing an awful lot of mowers lately. Maybe I ought to change the name of this channel. What do you think? Just kidding. So yeah, but yeah, I'll flip you around here in just a second, and we'll take you over it. Let you mull it over and see what you think. But I mean, hey, like I said, if it's free, it's for me. So, and I've been looking for one, like I said, just to pull a little trailer around the yard and stuff. So the mower deck being on it, that was just kind of a bonus. But yeah, I mean, it's got a 15.5 horse Briggs on it, so nice motor. It's got the Powerbilt model Briggs on it. So what is that? 50 cc's? What is that? 500 cc's, I guess it is. So yeah, 15.5 horse. It's got a 42-inch deck on it. From what I can see, the deck is in incredible condition. No rust on it, no dents. I mean, it really doesn't look like this thing's been used very much at all. But yeah, other than that, I'm thrilled. You just don't. This is one of those once a year kind of finds that you find on Facebook Marketplace that you're like, wow, how did I stumble on this one? But I was just in the right place at the right time, is all it boiled down to. Being able to snap this up, message the folks that were getting rid of it, and I said, hey, I could be over there. You give me enough time to get my trailer hooked up, and I can be over there in no time flat. So luckily, it was right here locally. It was only about 5 miles from the house, and yeah. I'm real thrilled, and it cleaned up beautiful. It really did. Looks like a brand new mower. I can't believe it, except for a little bit of moss and maybe a little bit of mold probably on the hood that I can't get up. But I'm going to try some different tactics with that, other than just a pressure washer, and see if maybe I can get all that off too. But yeah, let me get you flipped around here real quick and have you get a gander at it, and let me know down in the comments what you think about it. All right, stand by just a second. All right, so the before and after, man, it's just incredible, absolutely amazing. What a little bit of time with the pressure washer will do. I can see I missed a few spots, so I'll be going back over it again after I see it drying. See, I missed a few spots on the seat and stuff, but well, I'll tell you what, it's absolutely a really clean mower. Looks like somebody had taken pretty good care of it, not gonna lie. So I don't know if you can see it or not, but the bird nest is back in there, back behind the gas tank, behind the steering wheel, steering shaft. So we'll get that out of there. And there's another little bit of grass down there as well. So looks like something was building a nest in there as well. But wiring all looks good and everything. So, but yeah, I'll take a look at it. I mean, pretty amazing, right? From what it was when I started to now. I mean, you know, pretty. Came out really nice. I can't believe it. So yeah, you can see up on the hood here, there's a little bit of there's quite a bit of I'm guessing it's probably mold from sitting outside, but and the paint's a little faded on it. But I might hit with the buffer and hit that hood with the buffer and see if I might be able to bring that paint back a little bit, and hell, might be able to even hit that with a buffer and get that black off of there too. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm gonna head back around it with a couple of spots I see that I missed with the pressure washer, and set it aside for a few days and get back on that Husqvarna. The parts are all here for it. So anyway, hey, stick with me and we'll get back on this shortly. Thanks for watching. Welcome back to Retired Guy's Garage. I'm Jeff Richter. All right, so we're gonna put the that Husqvarna push mower, self-propelled mower, whatever we're gonna call it. We're gonna put a pin in that one. It's driving me nuts, and before I set it on fire and burn it, probably best just leave it alone for a little while. But we do have this thing that we need to get started on. So I've gone ahead and pulled the old battery out of it, because it was from 2017. So that was clearly not going to work. And went over to Walmart, got a new battery for it. So let's get the battery put in, and let's see if we have anything at all. Like I said, with this one, I have absolutely nothing. I know nothing about it. I probably know less than nothing about it. All I know is I picked it up out of off Facebook Marketplace, out of somebody's backyard. That's about all I know about it. So let's get started. Let's go ahead and get this battery set in here. So just a matter of a couple of bolts, nuts and bolts that hold these terminals on. But one thing I did forget, highly unusual, but we actually have the battery hold down, which is kind of crazy. There we go. Battery hold down is in. And we will go ahead and get these battery cables on. Just to 7/16 wrench. I'll get these things tightened up right quick. And always, when you're putting the battery back in, make sure you put the positive terminal on first, because that way there's no connection to the battery. And if you accidentally, go a little bit too far with the wrench and run it into some metal on the mower or whatever you're working on, car included, that you're not going to make it spark because there's no connection. So always make sure positive when you're installing. Positive is the first one you put back on. Get this -1 put back on here right quick. Get those tightened down. There's cover for the positive so that nothing hits it. All right, let's see what we got. What I am going to do is pop the hood open on this real quick and check the oil first before I start turning this thing over. Like I said, I know nothing about this mower, so only thing I did was I brought it home, pressure washed it, cleaned it up, and other than that, I know nothing about it. So let's see what the oil looks like. If we have any oil, that would be even better. Oh, wow. So, the oil is literally right to the full mark and looks perfectly clean. Doesn't even smell like gas. So this might be a good sign. So let's see what happens. Put that put back on. We'll put the hood back down. I'm not going to crank it over too long because I'm probably not going to keep that gas that's in there. I'm probably going to go ahead and toss some new gas, drain that tank, toss some new gas in it, and we'll see what happens. But let's see what happens with this, if anything. Okay, well, there you have it. She cranks over anyway. Gas is not smelling the greatest, but just for the heck of it, let's see if we'll throw some choke at it. And see what happens. Maybe it'll fire. Yeah, we all know that's not going to happen, right? But okay, well, it doesn't fire. The gas is probably, like I said, I have no idea how long the gas has been in there. So it didn't smell all that bad when I first checked it the other day. When I first checked it yesterday, but not really smelling that great today. So I'm going to go ahead. I've actually got a new fuel filter for it that I'm going to throw in, and a fuel line shutoff valve I want to put in. So let me. Hell, the brakes even work. Pushes all the way down. That's what holds the parking brake on. So pretty cool. All right. Well, sounds good though. Sounds really good. So let's go ahead and get this. Let me get some gas in this thing, some fresh gas in this thing. Maybe even hit it with some fire juice, and see if we can get this thing to spout off. Maybe right quick. But I do want to go ahead and put that fuel shutoff valve in there, and a new fuel filter anyhow. So because I don't know if you remember, but in the first part of this, fuel filter's in backwards, which probably doesn't really mean much on this, but still in all, good to have it in the right way. So let's go ahead and let me go ahead and get the hood open, and we'll get started on that real quick. Alrighty, so I've gone ahead and clamped off the fuel line so it doesn't spew fuel all over the place, because then I just got a big mess. Even though the gas is no good, still don't want to spew it all over the place. So go ahead and clamp that off. I actually took the clamp off because I'm going to add a fuel line shutoff to this thing. So I've gone ahead and taken the clamp off this old fuel filter here and moved it down so I can use that one to clamp this side of the fuel line. And then I can take the vice grips off so that I can use the fuel line, the fuel shutoff to clamp this off instead of the vice grips. So all right. One thing to take note of on these fuel shutoff valves, they are directional, so they only go on one way. And that fuel line is junk. We're going to have to replace that. Great. Yep, that fuel line's junk. We're going to have to replace that. All right, cool. Let me get some new fuel line, and of which I don't have, and we're going to have to replace that fuel line. Okay, be right back. All right, this is where it's going to start to get a little messy because we're going to have to put this new fuel line in, and there's just really no easy way to do this. I mean, it's going to make a mess, but it is what it is. So we're going to have to pop this fuel line off right quick, and I'm going to hopefully spray a little bit of lube inside this thing, just so that slides on there nice and easy. Going to have to pop this line off real quick, pop this one on, and hopefully not make a huge mess, but we'll see what happens. All right, wish me luck. All right, we got it on. Didn't make a huge mess, but enough of a mess that I'm going to be smelling gas the rest of the day. Let's put it that way. So I just got to slide this clamp up right quick. All right, so I got the fuel shut off, so all bad gas is going to stay in the tank. So went ahead, basically all I did was grab a pair of 90 degree needle nose pliers and got that hose clamp right up on there where it's supposed to be. So let's give it a little bit of fire juice. All right, let's see what happens. If anything, probably not. Well, there you have it. She did fire. That is all the water. I know you saw all that. I know y'all saw all that water, all that spray out of there, but that's just because I, put probably 50 gallons of water in this thing with the pressure washer trying to clean it out. So, but hey, she fired. So I'm going to drain the fuel out of this thing real quick, and then we're going to put some fresh gas in it. and see if we can actually get it running and keep it running. So she's going to need a new spark plug, I could say, obviously. Air filter's completely boogered up, so that's going to need a new one. But yeah, I mean, everything is free. Everything is working. I mean, man, I'll tell you what, what a find this was. Holy cow. Oil was like brand new, which is crazy. So yeah, let me get the gas. Let me get that old fuel drained out of here, and get some fresh gas in this bad boy, and we'll see if we can get it fired up and running on its own fuel. So what had happened was, and the reason I ended up having to replace fuel lines was, so the inside of the fuel lines had just collapsed in on themselves and were completely clogged. So that's why I had to go ahead and replace all the fuel lines. Unfortunately, I was a little short on fuel line, but I had an old piece I actually pulled out of the trash from one of the other mowers that I redid. So we've got, so I had some extra fuel line, and I will go ahead and next time I go to Walmart or whatever, I'll grab some new fuel line, package of new fuel line, and replace that as well. So, but yeah, let's get this tank drained out, and let's get for some fresh gas in it and see what happens. Just stick with me. I'll be right back. All right, so where we're at, completely drain the tank. Going to dispose of that properly, of course. Just not sure how that. Just kidding. We'll dispose of that. Got a half tank fresh fuel in here, and I'm just going to throw this out there. If any of y'all, maybe some of the viewers or folks that are watching might be, a little bit less young than others, such as myself. You look for things, ways to do things a little easier and not quite as much strain on the back and that kind of thing. So, tell you what I did find. Actually, a good friend of mine, Wayne, turned me onto these things. This is called a turbo pump. I think it's one of those as seen on TV type deals. And, I'll tell you what, man, I really like this thing. Just drop it down in the tank. There's 2 AA batteries, got a switch. This thing clips in real nice and tight. Won't go anywhere once it's on. I really like this thing, and it's even got an automatic shut-off on it that if you forget about it, not that that's ever happened to me, of course, it'll shut off on its own once the tank gets full. So, yeah, I really like this thing. They're not a sponsor or anything. I'm not, so I'm not getting paid for this. I wish I was, because that'd be great, but I'm not. But, yeah, it's called Turbo Pump, and I think it's one of those as seen on TVs type deals. Heck, they may not even be available anymore. I don't even know. Bought this thing years ago, a couple of years ago. So, but pretty cool product. I really like it, and it's really saved my back on more than one occasion. So, anyway, all right, we got some fresh fuel in this thing. Let's try firing it up and see if she'll run on her own. Uh-oh. Well, that's going to be a no. I don't know what happened, but we better find out, because that's not good. I think dead. All right, let's see what happened. All right, be right back. Did I not have the brake pushed down? That might be the problem. Let's try it again. That was it. All right, let's give it some choke. Well, let's give her a shot of fire juice and see if that helps things along. All right. Well, thought I was going to get lucky, but hey, it fired and actually ran on the starting juice, but fire juice. But hey, I'll take it. Let's get the plug out and see what that looks like real quick. Um, who knows? That carburetor could be all gummed up. Might end up having to put a carb on it. Which I looked at them on the old Amazon website there, and you can get the whole tune-up kit. Just like I did with all the rest of the mowers for about $22 or so. But let's get the spark plug pulled out of this thing and see what that looks like. Maybe that's all gummed up too. Who knows? But let's have a look. I'll be right back. All right, got the plug out, and it is really wet. So that's probably not a good sign. But it smells like bad gas. So I did crank it over a little bit yesterday or this morning already with the gas on. So that probably doesn't hit. Might have had something to do with it. So I'm gonna get this over on the spark plug cleaner. Believe it or not, that thing actually there's something that there is a tool like that actually exists. I know a lot of you don't know what that is, but it's pretty cool. It actually uses media blast, just much like a sandblaster, and you just pop the spark plug down on top of it and get some air pressure, and all that media blast cleans the electrode off real nice. So we'll get the spark plug cleaned up, and we'll get the wire wheel on here and clean up the outer shell as well. And it's a Champion. It's a Briggs. It's actually a factory Briggs and Stratton spark plug. Heck, it's probably the original spark plug. All right, let's get this cleaned up. So let's see if that helps. Be right back. All right. Well, so here's the prognosis. She's got to need a carburetor. I could take it apart and clean it, and hope it goes back together and hope it runs, or I can spend $20 some on Amazon, get a full tune-up kit for it. The spark plug looked pretty, didn't look bad, but it didn't look great. So the air filter's plugged up anyway. So gonna need some new, and the kit will come with some new fuel line, I think, too, as well. So hopefully that'll that should take care of it. So for I got $36 or so, $37 or so in the battery, another 20, 24, 22, 24, $26 in the kit to freshen this thing up. But I've had it running a couple times on starting fluid, and it sounds great. No smoke, even for as long as it has or hasn't been sitting. I don't know. I'm thrilled, man. She fired on starting fluid. I think there's just something plugged up inside that carburetor. I think that old gas got in there and gummed up. And we're going to get on Amazon, get on the old interwebs there, and we're going to get that kit ordered. Hopefully it'll be here tomorrow, and I can maybe get this thing running tomorrow, and maybe even try cutting some grass with it. Got to look at the blades, though, before I do that. Anyway, thanks for watching. This video is going to continue, but appreciate you sticking with me this long. Been a fun project. So let's get the new carburetor on it and stuff tomorrow, and we'll see what happens. Thanks for watching. I'll be back with this project tomorrow. All right. So on this rider, I got this Troy Bilt rider that we're working on here. Got a new carburetor and air filter ordered. Spark plug was fine. Cleaned it up and everything. It looked fine. So I didn't bother with that. And it seemed kind of silly to spend. The kit for this one was a little bit more expensive. It was closing in on $41, $42. So but that included the new fuel filter and shutoff valve and fuel line and air filter and carburetor and spark plug, and I didn't need all that. So what I did was
got on eBay and got a carburetor for about $13, I think, and an air filter for another $7. So about $20. Uh, Gonna get all the parts I need to get this thing running and running well and cutting some grass. But I think tomorrow what I'm gonna do is just to kind of take you through it. Just I mean, if the two of you that are watching are anywhere half interested, I'm going to go ahead and pull that old carburetor off this thing and take it apart. Uh, More than likely, I think the bad gas got in there and gummed up the needle in the seat and clogged it up and won't allow fuel into the engine. So I think that's what's wrong with it. So I'm going to take it off tomorrow and take the fuel bowl off, clean it up, put it back together, and put it back on. See what happens. Of course, even if it does run, I'm gonna go ahead and put the new carburetor on it when it gets here anyway. But yeah, so that's what we're gonna do tomorrow. So stick with me tomorrow, and we'll take apart a carburetor. Sounds like a plan. I'll see y'all in the morning.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. So we're back on this Bilt rider that we kind of started on yesterday. Got it fired. Y'all saw that in the previous section of this video, and got it running. So I've already ordered the parts. They should be here. I've already ordered a carburetor, a new air filter for it. Should be here next week, early next week, like Monday or something like that. I did go ahead and evict the bird's nest too while I was in there. So, but anyway, what I want to do today is, since I've already got a new carburetor coming for this thing, not really going to hurt anything if I screw it up by taking this carburetor off and messing with it a little bit. Maybe see if I can get it cleaned out. What I assume happened is the fact that old gas got in there and just gummed up the needle and seat, and it's stuck closed, which isn't allowing gas into the motor. So that's what I assume happened. But let's get it apart. Take it apart today and take the fuel bowl off and see if I'm right. So anyway, stick with me and we'll get this thing started. We'll start taking this thing apart and see what happened. All right, so we'll go ahead and get you right on in here and right into the meat and potatoes of this thing and get started. I've already got two front bolts for this cover out. These back ones are a little tighter, so this is going to take some doing to get these out of here. Usually, on another Craftsman motor, another Briggs & Stratton motor I had, they had the holes slotted, so you didn't have to take the bolts all the way out, but apparently they didn't do that with this one. And I don't know if these are going to come out of here or not without having to remove this gas tank bracket. Really do wish they would have slotted the holes on the bottom of this back of this cover so that you wouldn't have to take these all the way out. And it does look like we're going to have to do some removal of the fuel tank, or at least loosening of the fuel tank so I can get it up out of the way. Interesting. All right, well, let me figure out what we need to get that apart, and I'll be right back. All right, so there's two screws that go right in here. I've already got those two out. I'm going to go get the other side out here right quick. Then I'm hoping I can just lift this whole tank up out of the way and maybe just set it aside, but we'll see what happens. So there's four screws all together, and they're T30 Torx bit to get these bolts off for these little screws out for the bracket that holds the fuel tank in, and hoping that I can set it off, set it aside, and I can. Excellent. Actually, while I've got that out of there, I'm going to go ahead and push this thing tomorrow. I'm going to push it out of the way, push it over by the hose, and go ahead and get the get the rest of this thing pressure washed. So, all right. Set this hopefully down there. I've already gone ahead and turned off the fuel supply so that it doesn't leak all over the place. So yeah, a little bit more complicated with this one than the others, of having to take things apart to get to the carburetor. But yeah, the inside of this is pretty filthy dirty. So just going to go ahead and get the pressure wash out, get it over in the driveway tomorrow maybe, and pressure wash this thing and get it cleaned up. All right, let's see what we got. Well, we got a bunch of stuff that doesn't seem to want to come apart. That's what we got. Yeah, I missed one. Looks like maybe there's a screw holding that elbow piece on there. So let's get a screwdriver out here. See if that is indeed the case. It appears that would be it. Let's see. I do believe. There we go. All right. Well, we'll set this aside for the time being. And now that I've got the engine cover off and stuff, I'm gonna, like I said before I put this all back together, I am going to go ahead and clean this carburetor up, and clean this engine up. We'll take it over there, pressure wash it. Now that I'm down to this, down this far, I may as well go ahead and do that. So, but yeah. All right, let's see. Probably a 3/8 to get that off of there. And go ahead and grab a pair of pliers and get that fuel line off right quick. This is just looks like it's some kind of a breather that is busted, that is totally rotted. So we're going to go ahead and replace that. All right, a little bit of excess on there, but that'll evaporate out in just a few minutes. Well, maybe not. All right, so that looks like a 7/16. Gonna get these two nuts off of here. And looks like I'm gonna need a socket for that. All right, so that'll go ahead and get this elbow out of the way for the, this is what the air filter attaches to, actually. Set that aside for the time being. Appear that there's nope. I was going to say might be a spring missing, but that doesn't appear to be the case. All right, so these are always fun. And if you didn't figure it out ahead of time, that was being sarcastic.
All right. That little electrical connection disconnected for the fuel solenoid down here. Heck, that may even be the problem. That fuel solenoid might be no good. But yeah, we'll find out in just a second. All right, let's see what are we going to need for that. Looks like we're going to need a 10 millimeter deep socket, and those of you that know, you know that 10 millimeter sockets are few and far between. So give me a few minutes, let me dig up that socket, and we'll get back to this. Stick with me. All right, so luckily, not a 10 millimeter, it was actually an 8 millimeter. I'm sure it was, probably like a, 11/32 deep socket that I needed or some such thing, which I don't readily have, but looks like the 8 millimeter is going to do it just fine. All right, so that got the carburetor off. Getting all these little linkages off is going to be the fun part. Excuse me. Okay, so that took care of that. Okay, that took care of that. And then there's this one little tiny little spring on here. And we'll just leave that dangling right there for the time being. All right, well, let's go ahead and get this float bowl off and see what that looks like. Choke is surprisingly free. The carburetor is surprisingly clean. So, all right, let me figure out what we're going to do to get this float bowl off and bring it back in just a second. There is actually some kind of fuel in there, so that's probably a good sign. All right, let's see what we got. All right, so it took a little persuasion, but I was finally able to get these two. You can see these two screws right here. That's what holds this float bowl on. This is where all the gas sits when it comes into the inlet from the fuel tank, which plugs in right there. So, and the gas in here does not smell good at all. Oh well, we'll get that later. All right, and we'll get that later too. All right, so we'll set those screws aside for the time being. Let's see if we can manage to get this float bowl off without wrecking the gasket. And I do believe I did. All right. A little bit of junk in the bottom of that fuel bowl, so we'll go ahead and clean that out real quick. I'll get some cleaner out and clean that. And what does not appear that the needle and seat is stuck, or the needle is stuck as I suspected. Let's see. No, it does not appear that way, but maybe it may be gummed up. You never know. So, all right. Well, let's get some compressed air out and start blowing through these holes and things. And see if we can figure out why we're not getting any fuel in here. More than likely, there's probably some dirt in here or something. So let's get this cleaned out real quick. I'll hit it with some cleaner and try and get it cleaned out. And hit it with some compressed air and see if that helps matters along. 120 pounds of compressed air usually helps everything work better, right? Right. That's what we're going with. Stick with me. Let's get this thing cleaned up. All right. So what I did was went ahead and hit this with some cleaner. Got the inlet for the needle and seat, the needle cleaned out. Cleaned out these two ports right here. There's the needle. I know you couldn't see that because I wasn't pointing it at the camera because, I'm old. So blew some compressed air through here. Everything seems to be clear now. The center hole was plugged up pretty good, as well as this other hole on this side was plugged up pretty good. So I'm assuming, matter of fact, I may see if I can find a white piece of wire or something to run through this other
this other side here real quick and see if I can get that cleaned out. But so I did all that. Hit some compressed air through here. It is now clear through here, and as well as the fuel inlet side, went ahead and hit that with some compressed air as well. Got that cleared up, so hopefully we'll put this thing back together. Maybe it'll actually run. So we'll see what happens. But I do need to clean that side out. That one side, it looks pretty gummed up, and I'm going to go ahead and clear that out. Looks like it's got some real nasty stuff in there. So this side here, this one port looks pretty clear, pretty clogged up there on this side. So let me get this cleaned out real quick, and I'll bring you right back. Stay tuned. Let's get this thing put back together. Maybe we'll see it run and drive today. Who knows? All right. So really couldn't find a piece of wire laying around. You know, it's just a shop. I mean, what would you expect? Why would you think there'd be wire laying around? Anyway, but what I did find was a real tiny drill bit. So all I did was run a drill bit just with my fingers in through here, cleaned that all out. It was really plugged up. Got those all cleaned out, hit them with some cleaner, cleaned them out the rest of the way, got all the gun cleaned out. There was a little bit of gunk down in the bottom of the seat. So actually just took a little tiny screwdriver, kind of scraped around in there and hit that with some cleaner, got that all cleaned out. Next thing we're going to do is go ahead and clean out the float bowl, because I mean, it's not too bad, but we'll hit this with some cleaner too, and some 120 pounds of compressed air, and hopefully we'll clean that out as well. It doesn't look too bad, but it doesn't look great, so we'll try and hit that with some cleaner too, and get that cleaned out as well. So stick with me, I'll be right back. Alrighty, so got the needle and seat back on. Everything seems to be working the way it should be. Basically, the only thing that holds, that I should say, and the float assembly. This is the float assembly. Needle and seat I showed you was that smaller piece back in there. So there's just this pin that slides in and out of here. That's what holds this whole shebang together. And everything seems to be working okay. Let's put got the float bowl cleaned up on it, and I'm going to grab that screwdriver off the floor that I dropped earlier, along with the screws and everything else I took off of here. All right, let's pop this back together, there we go, looks good. And we need the float bowl screws. All right, so there we go. Got it back together. Got real lucky. None of the gasket. It doesn't appear that any of the gaskets got damaged while I was taking it apart, so that's always a good sign. So let me get this thing tightened, put back together in one piece. I am going to spray the outside of this carburetor off a little bit, and just so it kind of sort of looks like I did something to it. And I'll get it put back together, and we'll see if it runs. Okay, two things we hope happens. I hope it runs, for one thing. And I hope that it doesn't leak fuel. Can't guarantee on the second one or the first one, for that matter. But everything looks okay. Even if it does run with this carburetor on it, I'm still going to go ahead and put the new carburetor on it when it gets here, only because I just don't want any problems with it. So anyway, let me get this thing put back on and back in one piece, and let's get it fired up and see if she runs. Stick with me. All right, y'all ready? I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I've already started it. It does. It runs. But yeah, kind of wonky up at full throttle. She's surging a little bit, so I don't know quite what's going on with that yet. But yeah, let's see what happens. All right. Well, apparently nothing. Well, how about that? To run idles might be something wonky in the high speed circuit on the carb itself, but heck, it ain't leaking and it runs. So mission accomplished. Well, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and put the new carburetor on it when it gets here. But I really just wanted to hear it run because I'm going to scoot it over by the hose there real quick, and I'm going to blast out all the crap I've stirred up in here, and then put it back together for the final time. Well, final time until the new carb gets here next week, anyhow. So yeah, hey, free mower. I do want to go ahead and get it running. I may try and engage the blades real quick, engage the drivetrain, see what happens there, make sure that's working. But yeah, free 42-inch Troy Bilt mower. I mean, can't beat that. Runs and well, it runs. Let's put it that way. We'll see if it drives here in just a second. So yeah, let me get this thing over there, get the pressure wash out, clean this thing up, and I'll bring it back in just a little while, and we'll see if she actually moves. So we'll go with that. We'll go from there. Stick with me, and we'll get this finished up for now. Welcome back to the Retired Guy's Garage. I'm Jeff Richter. Hey, so a little bit of an update on the Troy Bilt project. So at the last part of this video, we were I took the carburetor apart and got it running, drove it around. You saw it. You heard it, right? Well, I kind of left it sitting out here for a little while and saw some liquid dripping out from underneath it, and let's face it, I hit this thing hard and heavy with a pressure washer. So, I just thought it was, water dripping out of the front end of this thing. But as it turns out, it was not. Apparently, I guess the needle and seat must have stuck on that carburetor again, and well, it just drained about a quarter of the tank of fuel I had in it out onto the ground before I realized what was going on. So, anyway, new carburetor will be here tomorrow, but one of the other projects I've got that I want to do is these step treads here. Got some new stuff off Amazon. Drop a link to it below, of course. That we're going to go ahead and pull these old ones off, trace them out onto the new stuff, and we're going to make some new step treads for this. So clean this up a little bit, make it look a little nicer. These are, there's holes in them and stuff. So, I just want to make it nice because, you never know. I might end up selling this thing. Who knows? I gotta, if you saw that, if you're going to watch the video on the RV project, that inverter, converter, whatever the heck it is, a little bit more pricey than I thought it was. So yeah, this one might be going up for sale. You never know. Anyway, stick with me. Let's get these things put on. All right. I know you can't see, or you couldn't see what I was talking about back there, but from where the camera was positioned a few minutes ago. But that's what I'm talking about. We're going to pop these off. As you can see, they're pretty much off already. So yeah, not good actually. And there's a ton of water underneath them. And we've got some new stuff here. So we're just going to trace them out. And I'm going to clean that up so that the new stuff sticks down there nice and snug. And we're going to replace these treads. All I'm going to do is drop I'm just going to trace them out on the back, cut them out, pair of scissors, and hopefully it'll look nice. Stick with me. All right, so got them wiped off a little bit. Got at least got the water out of there anyway. There's quite a bit of old glue left here, old sticky stuff, left on the footrest here. So we're gonna spray a little bit of Goo Gone on there and let that sit for a few minutes and see if that might loosen it up a little bit. Maybe I can get this cleaned up. hopefully that'll loosen it up. We'll get that cleaned up, and in the meantime, while that's sitting for a few minutes, I'm gonna get that new part, new foot grip unrolled and get this traced out and cut out, and we'll go from there. All right, so this is what we're going to do. Like I said, I'm just going to lay this thing upside down. I'm going to trace it onto the new piece. Looks like I should be able to get both pieces out of one section, which is nice. Save myself in case I ever want to, use that for something else. Matter of fact, I got some treads that need to be replaced on the RV steps, so I'll have some left over to do that with. So yeah, all I'm going to do is just take a pencil, trace this out real quick, cut it out with a pair of scissors, and slap it on there. I'm letting that glue gun sit on that adhesive on the footboard so that it will go ahead and lift that adhesive up. The first hit of it, I hit it with the first time and came up a little bit, but not all of it. But looks like it's going to need probably some more elbow grease, as they say, in order to get the rest of it off. So stick with me. Let me get this cut out, and we'll see what she looks like. I'll give you a look at what I did. Like I said, just went ahead and traced the old one onto the back of the new one. Make sure you got all the orientations right. So make sure it's the old one's facing up when you trace it, so that it's got the right shape when you get done. I did manage to get the footboard cleaned off on the right side. First one I was working, this side that I'm working on. Not gonna lie, cheated a little bit. Sprayed it down with some glue gun. That didn't really cut it too well. So what I did was I just took and sprayed it down again after I wiped it all down with some sprayed it down with some glue gun again, and I hit it with a wire brush, and all that adhesive came right off. It's all going to be underneath the footboard, underneath this grip tape anyway, so it'll be fine. So stick with me. And there you have it. So is it absolutely perfect? It is not. I'm not going to lie, but it certainly looks better than what was on there. And let's get this put on. Had some loose paint right here around this nut, around this, I should say, bolt right here. So just went ahead. I had some Rust-Oleum laying around that I just sprayed on there. Most of it, except for this little corner right here, is going to be underneath the foot grip anyway. So let's go ahead and see if we can get this put on and see what happens. I kind of pre-fitted a few minutes ago. It seems like it fits pretty good. You can tell by the shadow as to where it's going to go. And yeah, that looks pretty darn good right there. All right, let's stick her down and see what happens. Maybe if I can get the backing off. Oh, there we go. All right, looks like it's some pretty tough stuff, so hopefully it'll stay. There you have it. And all that is some grip tape. The whole roll, it was 10 inches by, I don't know, like 36 inches long. The whole roll on the old Amazon website there was $8, I think it was. So, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, is going to help the mower run any better? Of course not. but it does make it look a little bit nicer. And for as nice as this mower is, I kind of wanted to, kind of get it, get it looking as nice as I could possibly could. I actually ended up hitting the buffer, hitting the hood with top of the hood with a buffer yesterday, and paint come out real nice on it. So I've already got the other piece traced out. So let me get that cut out, and I'll take you over on the other side, and we'll get that one put on, and just be waiting on the carburetor tomorrow. All right, got that one cut out as well. Kind of laid it on there. Looks like it's going to fit pretty well. So let's get the backing off of it and get this side done, and then tomorrow we'll just be waiting on that new carburetor to get here, and we'll get this thing running and decide whether I'm going to keep it or sell it. You know the thing. You know my saying. Everything's for sale for the right price, right? And look at that. I mean, look at the difference that made. I mean, it was, like I said, it was like $8, and what did it take me? Half hour to do the both of them, and wow, what a difference! Really, really spruced it up. So, yeah, I'm thrilled. Awesome. All right. Well, we'll just be waiting on the carburetor tomorrow. So, come on back tomorrow. Well, actually, you'll just be coming back to the same video, but I'll be coming back tomorrow because carburetor's not here. So I'll get this thing finished up tomorrow and get it running and driving around the yard again, and maybe I'll even figure out why the headlights don't, what's going on with the headlights, because I'm not really sure. I don't know how to turn them on. There's no switch. I just assumed that once the mower started, the lights would come on automatically, but we'll look into that tomorrow as well. Anyway, see you in the morning.
Hey, welcome back to the Retired Guy's Garage. It's actually a couple of, I guess, 2 days later now from this video that I originally did with this Bilt rider, and well, new carburetor got in and came in this morning, and kind of got ahead of myself and went ahead and put it on and didn't video it. So, I'm old, and that happens sometimes. Anyhow. As you can see from the beginning of the clip here, it's running great. It was surging quite a bit when I first got it running. I thought I was going to have to adjust that the full throttle adjustment, but after it warmed up just a tad, smoothed right out, running great. I'm thrilled. Anyway, so that is going to wrap it up. Of course, I got the new filter in there. Just to kind of recap right quick. I mean, this was a lawnmower that I had picked up. I knew absolutely nothing whatsoever about it. Picked it up, brought it home, put a battery in it first from Walmart. It was $36. The carburetor was $13 and some change, I think. And the air filter was $8. So, and what else did I put into it? A couple of bulbs for the headlights, which still aren't working. I'll figure that out eventually. And the new grip tape on the footboards. And that was $8. So 36, 13, say 14, that's 50, 58, $66-ish. $66. Got a real nice Bilt rider, and gonna go put it to work. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. I had a blast doing this one. I mean, it's not very often that you come across something like this that's just absolutely, I mean, I hate to say pristine, but boy, it's in really nice shape for an old rider, for a, what is it, almost 10-year-old rider. It was built in 15, I think, if I remember correctly. But yeah, so hope you enjoyed the video as much as I enjoyed doing it for you. And if you liked it, make sure you hit that like button down at the bottom, because I would really appreciate that. And by all means, hit that notification bell as well, so you get notified when these new videos come out. And as always, if you're enjoying the content that I'm putting out on YouTube, I would really appreciate it if you would hit that subscribe button. Hey, this has been the Retired Guy's Garage. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it, more than you'll ever know. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.